What's up, peeps? It is Will. We are the Fight Gods. I'm here with my boy Ben the Stash. We are here to discuss the Royal Rumble coming up this. I was gonna say Sunday night, Ben, but it's Saturday night. I'm not used to that yet, man. Yeah, how's it going tonight, Ben? All right.
Doing well, doing well. Yeah, man. The premium live event, not the pay-per-view, is on Saturday. It's a bummer for me because we're supposed to be getting like 10 to 20 inches of snow, like it's supposed to be like the snowstorm of the winter. And it's like, oh, you could lose power. So I'm like, shit, man. Like I need to make sure my phones are charged and ready to rock and roll so I don't miss any of the pay-per-view. Or
Yeah,
sorry,
for
the
real.
premium live event.
Yeah, I mean, hey, so do any countries, is this considered pay-per-view still, or is it's just a premium live event everywhere now?
Yeah, it's premium live event now because I don't think they have Peacock over in Europe, so they're still using the WWE network over there.
Got you,
And
got
of
you.
course, it's available on BT Sports too. I think over like in the UK and stuff. So which I think that's basically like a cable channel. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And like Chile, I think was saying I think he gets the WWE and UFC pay-per-views on regular TV over there in the Philippines. So that makes sense. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm pretty excited about it. I think it should be a decent event. I think it's
oh,
had a pretty good build up. I think that really, I think that since about a week or two before day one, I think the WWE has done a hell of a job, um, just with their programming and stuff. Some of the best I've seen in a couple years. Um, but you know, I was glad that they still rolled with Roman at day one. I was afraid they were gonna drop that whole thing and have him lose. So I'm glad they didn't do that. But yeah, I'm kind of excited about the Rumble, man. I think it's always a fun event, one of my favorite events of the year usually. Um,
it's my absolute favorite. As a kid, it was
mhm.
awesome because my birthday is in January, so it was always my mom would always buy the pay-per-view as a birthday present. So it was one of those things where like my mom would be like, here's in a card, there'd be like a little ticket for, a fake ticket for the pay-per-view, you know what I mean? So that we could
Oh, that's
rent the
awesome.
pay-per-view. We'd watch it. It was my favorite one. When I wrestled, being in battle royals, as crazy as they are, was always my favorite thing to do. Um, as
Yeah.
unsafe and crazy as they are in indie wrestling, they were always my favorite thing to do. So I'm really actually pretty excited. And this is the first year, aside from last year, that I have no clue. There's not like a guy that I'm like he's gonna win.
Yeah, I feel you on that, man. Um, yeah, I'm kind of not like that either. I don't even know, man. I've got a couple theories that we will go over here in a couple of minutes, but yeah, I would say that it's definitely not a. It's kind of like the year that Asuka and Shinsuke Nakamura both won because nobody saw one of them winning, much less both of them. So it could be fun, man. But
That's
yeah, let
probably the most forgotten about men's Royal Rumble, I bet.
unfortunately, I think you're right, but
Either that one or the one that Sheamus won in 2012.
no, God, Sheamus, man,
Because I
they
remember
kept
watching that
pushing him.
Royal Rumble in 2012, and it was down to him and Jericho made his return, and it was like a fucking big deal. And then they just shit the bed and let Sheamus win.
Yeah, I from everything that I've heard from like just different things that I've read and stuff. A lot of people, former WWE wrestlers, whatever, all seem to think that it's because of Sheamus's friendship with Triple H that he just pretty much gets pushed to the moon all the time. Like they just, with him winning the title, beating Daniel Bryan in like 15 seconds, just stuff they had no business really doing, and they did it anyway. So I don't know, just one of those things. I've never been a big Sheamus fan. Um, I think in the 80s he would have been a jobber, let's put it that way. Or at the very most in the 80s he might have been Hercules Hernandez stature, I don't think he would have been the champion, intercontinental champion, maybe a tag champ, but
I mean that's probably where he would have gotten the intercontinental scene is probably like as far as he would have gotten, I would
yeah.
imagine. because he
in the
just doesn't
80s.
have
Yeah.
the charisma or the. And I get that like part of that could be him being from another country, so like some of it doesn't translate well, but he just doesn't have any sort of charisma, and he doesn't have a character like. I don't know, like Drew McIntyre went full force into the whole Scottish thing with the kilt and the sword and the, you know what I mean? And
Yep.
Sheamus is just like, oh, I'm Irish, and that's it. That's all I got. So
Yep. Pretty much. But but yeah, man. So we could go ahead and get right into it. Let's see.
according to Wikipedia, the Women's Royal Rumble is the first match on the card.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No, sorry, Men's Royal Rumble is we can do whatever order you want, but according to
Yeah.
Wikipedia, Men's Royal Rumble is 1, Women's is 2. And then Brock and Bobby, Becky and Doudrop, Edge and Beth versus Miz and Maurice. Let's do that one first. Let's do Edge and Beth versus Miz and
Yeah.
Maurice. Let's get that out of the
I
way.
agree because I'm calling bullshit on Wikipedia because there's no way they're doing the 2 Rumble matches back to back. That's
No way.
just
2
too
hours.
long. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Miz and Maurice versus Edge and Beth. I hate to say it, but I'm sure Edge and Beth are gonna win. Um, Most likely, at least, in my opinion. I feel like they're kind of jobbing the Miz out here. He's doing fine in between all the matches, but then when it's time for the matches, he's getting his ass kicked, you know. Um, Only way I could see them having Miz and Maurice win is if they're going to carry this over to Mania. That's about it. But I don't know. What do you think, man?
I think they made a mistake having Edge go over in their first match. I think that it should have ended either with a disqualification or the Miz going over, because it's kind of like you said, it will seem like they're jobbing the Miz out, because I don't see any way that they have Edge and Beth Phoenix lose this match, because
Right.
I don't feel like there's a need to extend it all the way to Mania, and I don't know if it has the legs to get all the way to Mania.
Yeah.
They've been so prominent on TV the last couple of weeks that there's not much left to do. They've done the purse spot with the brick, and they've done the, Edge almost hit Maurice but didn't, and
Yeah.
like there's not a lot of angles left to work with this. So I feel like they're not going to have the heels end the feud with a victory.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going through all this of bringing Beth back. Like
Yeah.
she's one of the, I mean, say what you will, she's one of the greatest female competitors that the WWE's ever had.
I
So
totally agree.
it would be doing her a really bad disservice if they had her lose the match that she's coming back for. So I'm picking Edge and Beth Phoenix here.
Yeah, I am too. But man, you know what would be a great ending to this match if they are going to carry it over? If they had Miz haul off and hit Beth Phoenix, do something like heinous to her, really get that heel heat. They get disqualified because the guys aren't supposed to hit the girls or whatever. But I think that would be smart if they are going to carry it over. Just have the Miz go into full heel mode. Edge is down or something like that, and Beth is like beating the crap out of Maurice. Have Edge hit her with a chair or something, man. Now that would get some heat, bro. I mean, if you want to carry it on, you gotta. They really have to put something into it, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't. Like you said, like I said, and like you just said, I think that they are pretty much just jobbing out the Miz, having him lose that first match, and then having him lose this one. Kind of sucks. But that might be a sign of good things to come, because didn't Edge beat Rollins at a couple of pay-per-views? Now he's fighting for the title, so
Edge has done a pretty good job on both sides of like losing the matches and getting some back. So I just think that it would be. I don't have a problem with the Miz. I like the Miz quite a bit, but I feel like it would be the wrong step for both Edge and Beth if they were to lose this feud, especially because I just don't see it having legs to carry all the way to WrestleMania.
Right. I got you. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. So let's see, what would be the second match? If I had to guess, well, I think the Women's Rumble probably will start the event, or the Men's Rumble. But then I could see them doing that tag match, and then probably Doudrop versus Becky Lynch.
We'll just go into that one next anyway.
Yeah.
We'll just do Becky and Do.
I'll give you the floor, man. What you got?
Man, every part of me wants to pick Dewdrop just because I think it would be one of the most like it would be like Nikki ASH level upset, you know. But I feel like they won't have Becky lose until it would be easier to pick if I knew who the woman that was winning the Royal Rumble, but I'm still going to pick Becky here. I feel like they won't have her lose the belt until Mania.
I 100% agree with you. And I'll get into that more during the Women's Royal Rumble match. But I don't know, man. I mean, and I'll be honest with you, Dewdrop has done a little bit better the last couple weeks. I know I told you guys I felt like she was going to get cut. But I think the last couple weeks she's kind of thriving. I think Becky's kind of carrying her a little bit, but at the same time, maybe she's just coming into her own now that she actually has like a prominent feud on TV, you know.
I think the match will be better than people are going to expect. I think that Becky works well with people who are kind of bigger than her. And I think Dewdrop's good enough that she's not Nia Jax level unsafe in the ring.
Right.
So I think it could be a pretty good match. But you know, I just if Dewdrop were to win, I just don't know what you would do with her afterwards. Like what feud you could set up afterwards.
Yeah, I don't think there's much. I will say this. I'm with Becky on that one because when I was wrestling, I would say I was fluctuating between 190 and 210, depending on how much weight training I was doing and different stuff like that. I always loved wrestling bigger guys than smaller guys. The bigger guys were always there when you tried to like jump off the top rope. They didn't bail on taking bumps and different stuff like that. Felt like the smaller guys, they kind of had a built-in excuse. You know what I mean? So I always liked wrestling bigger opponents.
I don't think I ever really worked anybody that was smaller than me because I wasn't. I mean, I'm 6 feet tall, but when I was wrestling, I was maybe 170 pounds. Maybe I was pretty small. So basically, what I was, you know, I'd wrestle the guys who were bigger than me, and I would just bump my ass off, dude. That's what I would do. So,
yeah, most of the wrestlers, actually, like at the beginning, all the wrestlers were bigger, but over the years, man. And I mean, you could see it on TV too. All the wrestlers started getting smaller. And by the time I was done in like 2012, I was one of the bigger guys in the locker room. And I'm like, are you serious? Like when I started, it was like the land of giants, you know? But
that never would have been the case for me. If I was one of the bigger guys in the locker room back then, that would have been a problem. I mean, I was tall. Like I said, I was like 6'2" with boots on, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I wasn't very big. Like, I would have been not Vince McMahon's first pick, that's for sure.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, you got to get that extra inch or two on the boots, man. Definitely. So let's see. Let me go back to these other matches. I guess we could talk about Brock and Bobby Lashley next. Or do you want to wait on that one?
No, go for it. You go. I went first this time. You go first, or I went first last time. You go first this time.
I personally think Brock keeps the title. I'm convinced that he's going to beat Bobby Lashley. I don't see anything good coming from Bobby Lashley winning. The only way that I could see them doing it is if Roman cost Brock the title. It's the only way I could see Brock losing here. Any other way, I think that he keeps the belt. But what about you, man?
I'm worried about there being like a dusty finish in this match. I think that logically it would make the most sense for Bobby Lashley to win and take the title off Lesnar because Lesnar's the free agent and like I feel like his feud is better on SmackDown with Roman and some of those guys that he hasn't really worked over there. But I'm worried that the Hurt Business will come down and do some bullshit and there'll be like a DQ finish so that it keeps everybody strong. I guess I'll pick Brock. I don't want to, but I guess I'll pick Brock to win this match. But I see Lashley in some fucking WrestleMania feud against the Hurt Business, honestly.
You see Wait. You just said, oh, Bobby Lashley versus the Hurt Business.
Yeah, I
Okay.
see them doing some dragging that shit out because they've been, all over him the last few
Yeah.
weeks. So.
Yeah, I could definitely see that, man. I always thought it would have been cool if they would have like really had a feud with the Usos and Roman versus Bobby in the Hurt Business, but just wasn't meant to be, man. When they had the titles and everything, I thought that would have been pretty cool, um but yeah,
So
Seth,
Brock, yeah, probably Brock.
yeah, okay. And let me look. I'm looking at the lineup right now. Let's go ahead and talk about the other title match, and then we'll talk about the Rumbles. You good with that?
Yep.
Okay. So Seth versus Roman. I just don't see Roman losing the title right now. He's held the title this long. I think you got to keep it on until Mania. Um, I think it would be very like what's the word? Anticlimactic, taking the title off of him in a feud that just started 2 weeks ago with Seth Rollins. But yeah, I don't see him losing the title. What about you, Ben?
Out of all the people that Roman has feuded with the last few months, Seth is the most realistic to beat him. But again, I feel like it would be doing a disservice to Roman to take the belt off him before WrestleMania.
Yeah,
He's been the workhorse for your company since COVID started, and he's like the one guy that could have had the excuse to stay home this whole time.
right.
But he totally changed his character. He's become one of the most hated heels in all of wrestling across any promotion.
Hmm.
And it's not because they hate him ironically. They hate him because he's an arrogant prick and he wins all of his matches like a cheap pussy heel. He's
Yeah.
getting
Oh yeah.
he's getting old school heat.
Definitely.
And it's not like the John Cena type heat that fucking people just want him to go away. So I
Yeah.
feel like you at least owe it to this guy to at least fucking headline WrestleMania. I feel like whoever
Yeah.
wins the Rumble's challenging Roman for the belt. You fucking owe it
Yeah.
to him.
Yep.
So I feel like Roman should win his match, and it should be a very good match. But I feel like he
Mhm.
should win the match and win it probably. Convince. Well, we'll talk about why he'll win the match in a minute, but
Yeah.
or how I think he'll win the match in a minute. But
Okay. I think that I mean I don't think there's any reason for him not to win it clean, only because Seth is as much of a heel as he is. I mean, they
well,
still have him doing that stupid laugh.
my thing is okay. I guess we'll jump it a little bit, but like some of the buzz online is that Brock will enter the Royal Rumble.
Right. Right.
The only way I can see there being some sort of interference in Roman and Seth's match is if Brock wins the Rumble. Roman's in trouble. Brock comes in, hits Seth because he wants to be the guy that beat Roman. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely. I could
Um,
see that.
I could see that happening, but
Mhm.
I'm not even convinced that Brock will win the Rumble. It depends on what happens with the Lashley thing.
Yeah. And we this could be the dusty finish. You made me think of that. The Usos are banned from ringside. They come out and attack Seth Rollins and get Roman disqualified. He keeps the title. That could be the dusty finish you were talking about a little while ago, but just on the other match. You never know, man.
Maybe.
Um, but I do think that Brock is going to enter the Rumble, and I think that he's going to win. Even though I think he's going to keep the title, I think that he's going to want to, uh, unify the titles at Mania. We've been talking about that for a little while, and I don't see any of the dirt sheets really even taking that into consideration. But I think that it's a good possibility, man. And I think that Brock will win the Rumble and headline night one of WrestleMania. I'll tell you what. FYI, sounds good, bro. Good to see you, man.
That's right.
I don't know.
For
I think,
FYI.
yeah. I think that they will headline night one of WrestleMania. Yeah, I think they'll headline night one of WrestleMania, right? Because
And the
it'll be two
women will
nights
headline
again.
night two.
What's that? Yeah.
Well, I mean, the women have to
Yeah.
headline one of the nights, right? I
Right.
don't, I
Right.
don't, I don't see
Usually, yeah.
them headline. I see the women headlining night one.
Yeah. Maybe. Maybe. But I don't know. It could be such a big match that it would be night two. But we'll talk about that here in a second. But
Yeah.
who do you have winning the Rumble? The
Which
men's
one?
Rumble. The men's Rumble. And here are the odds, by the way. We'll go ahead and throw those up. Ben provided the odds. I don't see Big E
It's
winning the
crazy to
Rumble.
me. Big E's so highly
Yeah.
up on the list. Like his title push didn't do anything.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that the most eliminations will go to Omos. I think that just makes the most sense. I think that the Iron Man of the Rumble will go to either Austin Theory or Kevin Owens. I think they'll last the longest in the Rumble. Outside of so out of the 22 people that are currently like listed for the Rumble, man, I can't ignore how much Vince McMahon likes Austin Theory. And earlier today, I was having a hard time deciding between Austin Theory and AJ Styles. Just because like winning the Rumble is basically the only thing AJ is literally the only thing AJ hasn't done yet, I believe. I believe he's won every other title that there is to win.
Right.
But I guess I'm going to pick Austin Theory.
Wow, really? Okay. I mean, we had talked about that a couple weeks ago. I guess it's definitely a possibility. But like I said, I see Brock and Roman being the biggest possible match at WrestleMania. So I got to go with that headlining. And they've had this feud going on. It's got to culminate at some point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I just said out of the 22 people that were announced, my pick is Austin Theory.
Okay, so out of the ones announced, let's see. Out of everybody announced, Austin Theory's plus 2,500, huh? How could Finn Balor be a bigger favorite than Austin Theory? And Austin Theory's been kicking his ass on TV a couple weeks.
Because three of the top four guys aren't even announced for the Rumble match itself. Lesnar, Reigns, and McIntyre. I mean, I'm sure Drew will come back. That's one of the guys that hasn't been announced, and he'll come out and fucking smash Madcap and Happy Corbin, I'm sure. But I don't know, man. They've just been doing this whole thing with Austin Theory for a bit now, and like Vince McMahon's like all the dirt sheets, all the internet, everything says that Austin Theory is Vince McMahon's like little project right now. He's young. He fits the narrative for what the audience that they're going after is. It would be a big shock for a guy like that to win the Rumble. Is he a believable threat for Brock or Roman? Not necessarily, but we don't know how shit's going to play out. So like, you know, he's the guy that it could make sense. You know, that's all I'm saying. Like it's a shocker kind of, but like it fits the narrative of the direction that WWE is going in.
Yeah, I got you. I'll play ball. I'll say out of the people announced, I'll go with Kevin Owens.
I can see that too. I mean, Kevin Owens is good TV, especially with the contract signing that he just did, the extension and all that.
Yeah, and
that's why I think he'll be the Iron Man, though. Like, I think he'll do a really good job. I think he'll have probably one of the better, if not the best, showing in the Rumble this year. I think because I don't feel like they'll have somebody win from 1 or 2. Didn't they do that last year? Wasn't Edge number 1 or number 2 or something?
Something like that, yeah. Maybe number 1, yeah.
So
yeah. No, I think that in the outside unlikely occurrence that Seth Rollins wins the title, then I think that they would do him and Kevin Owens at WrestleMania.
Absolutely.
But the women, Ben, that's what we need to talk about. And I know that you had talked a little bit about Ronda coming back and winning the Rumble. Are you still thinking that may happen?
Oh, I mean, that's not necessarily my pick, but I do think that
you're talking about
that's a huge possibility. I don't think it's the right move. I think that Ronda gets the wrong kind of heat. I'm not a big fan of her in-ring work or her personality or any of that stuff, so I just don't think that it would be the right move, especially for the way that the women's division has been going out lately. But I think that's a huge possibility.
Okay. So who's your pick of people announced or surprise?
I don't know. You go first.
Okay. People announced. I'll go with Charlotte Flair.
Oh,
And
was
people
she
not.
announced?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She was like
Yeah.
one of the first women. And then people not announced, I will go with Ronda. But what I'm going to say is, I think there's going to be some fuckery at the end, and they're both going to win. And both of them and Becky Lynch are going to headline WrestleMania again, like they did before Ronda left. So she comes back for the same match she lost. I think that's where that goes, especially since they've been blurring the lines between the brands anyway. I think that's one of the night of WrestleMania's main events, and the other one is Brock versus Roman. And that's why I was saying I think Brock and Roman might be night one. So, or Ronda could win it outright and challenge both of them again, like she did the other year. Because that's how that happened, right? Didn't she just say she wanted both of them? Oh no, Becky did. Becky won last time and challenged both of them. So Ronda could do the same thing this time. Yeah, probably Ronda. I'll go with that. And if not, then Charlotte. But what about you, man?
Out of the announced ones, man, I had a hard time with this one because it would make a lot of sense for them to have Bianca win again.
Mm-hmm.
I want to pick one of the random, like I said earlier, like Mickey James or some shit. But I think they'll do the winner will be one of the 8 or 9 females that haven't been announced yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think a few of the unannounced ones will be some NXT girls like Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai will be there. But
Probably.
I feel like where we're thinking the Ronda thing is so obvious, they might not do it that way. I don't know. I'll go for the unannounced ones. I'll go with Alexa.
Okay.
Why not? I guess.
And what about for the announced?
Shit, I don't know. Bianca, I guess.
Okay. Hey, I love Bianca Belair, man. I would love to see her win it again. To be completely honest with you, I will say that I think Sami Zayn is going to be the shortest lived participant in the Royal Rumble this year. They got to do something with Johnny Knoxville eliminating him. They've got to. I think that he'll probably eliminate Sammy, and then Omos will launch him out of the ring, something along those lines.
Oh yeah, Omos is going to be the one to eliminate Knoxville. You know it.
He's got to be. Got to be. So you said you had some trivia, man. Let's hear some trivia questions. I think I could do all right with these, man.
All right. So this might be an easy one, but who holds the record for most eliminations in a single Royal Rumble?
I know the all-time leader is Kane. Is he the single leader too? I'll go with Kane.
He was the single leader for many years. He in 2001 he eliminated 11 people, but the record is 13.
Would that be Roman?
It would be Braun Strowman.
Oh God, that makes so much sense. And he didn't even win the Rumble, right?
And he didn't even win the Rumble. No.
That's wild. Did you know that he did like a pro arm wrestling match? Did you see that?
Yeah.
A few months back. Yeah, I was watching.
Do you know who holds the record for the longest time spent in a Royal Rumble?
Oh man, it's got to be.
The record is 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 12 seconds.
Yeah. I'm going to say it's either Jericho or Flair.
Is that your final answer? I'd tell you the year, but it would give it away because this person also won the Royal Rumble the year that they lasted an hour and 2 minutes.
Rey Mysterio.
Yes.
All right.
Do you know who? Do you know who holds the record for shortest time in the Royal Rumble?
Oh yeah, Santino.
1.9 seconds.
And he just barely beat Bushwhacker Luke, I think. Because he got in and Andre threw him out the other side of the ring. Awesome stuff, man. Great TV.
It was awesome.
Yep.
Do you know who has the record for most wins in a Royal Rumble?
That's a good question. Let me think. All right, so
this person has, I can't tell you, but I mean, I guess I could tell you this person has 3. There was one person who has 3, and then there is 6 others who have won twice. So I want you to give me the one who's won 3, and I want you to name at least 3 of the ones who have won twice.
Is the one that has won 3 times, is that Randy Orton? Has he won twice?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Randy Orton.
We'll do twice first.
All right. Let's see.
Yeah, Orton won in 2009 and then 2017.
Did Edge win twice also?
Doesn't say he's won twice, but I'm pretty sure he did.
I'm trying to think of who else would have won twice. Damn, I'm drawing a blank of who would have been 3 times.
He did win the Rumble twice. Edge
he did. Okay. Yeah, I thought he might have. Did John Cena win the Rumble twice?
He did. Cena has won it in 08 and 013 and 2013. 013.
013.
Edge won in 2010 and 2021.
Okay.
The other ones who have won it twice, Hulk Hogan in 1990 and 1991, Shawn Michaels in 95 and 96, and Triple H in 2002 and 2016.
It's crazy.
And then Batista did it in 2005 and 2014.
It's crazy because I was actually going to go with Shawn Michaels or Triple H as the 3-time winner. Let's see, 3-time winner.
If you don't get it, you're going to kick yourself in the ass and you're going to be like, holy shit, I knew that.
Yeah, I'm sure I will, man. Let me think. No, I can't be. Hold on, I'm just. Just go ahead, man. I can't even think of it right now.
He won it in 1997, 1998, and
Stone Cold.
2001. Yeah.
Stone Cold, yeah, that makes sense.
97 though technically isn't an actual. I mean, he won it, but he didn't actually go on to WrestleMania to fight for the belt because he had gotten eliminated and then came back in, and he eliminated Bret Hart, Vader, and The Undertaker, and then they went on to an In Your House fatal 4-way over the top rope thing that The Undertaker ended up winning and going on to WrestleMania to beat. I'm pretty sure Undertaker beat Sid at that WrestleMania that year for the belt.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I think that's when Sid crapped himself in the main event.
Poor Sid, man, fucking guy shit himself and broke his leg and got stabbed by Arn Anderson. Fucking terrible shit happened to him.
Had a rough go of it, man.
Yeah, do you remember hearing about that? That him and Arn Anderson stabbed each other in a bar?
Oh yeah, definitely, man. With scissors.
You don't fuck with Arn Anderson.
Nah, you don't mess with AA, man.
Bro, why was the Four Horsemen theme the most badass theme in the history of all entrance themes, dude?
Yeah, it was pretty badass, man. I liked it.
I'm like smack dab in the middle of 1996 WCW right now in my watch through on Peacock. So like NWO is like raising, like Hogan's the champion, the Outsiders are the tag team champions. They just announced Eric Bischoff as the 4th man in the NWO. And man, it's like the I mean, it's the best, worst version of the Four Horsemen right now, too. So you got Ric Flair, you got Arn Anderson, but you got fucking Mongo McMichael, who can't wrestle his way out of a paper bag. And then you've got like less than no personality, Chris Benoit as the fourth man in the Four Horsemen right now.
Yeah. Yep. You're right, man. Yeah. The late Horseman was kind of strange. I felt like they definitely watered it down a little bit. But you know, it just is one of those things. I mean, I had totally forgotten that Double J was in the Horseman for a little while.
Yeah. Oh, that was that was new. That was the very end of it.
Yeah. Yeah, he just killed the whole thing. You have any other trivia questions?
I mean, we could ask some. Oh, okay. So, who won the officially largest Royal Rumble in WWE history? It was 40 men.
Man, it was supposed to be Santino, but Del Rio stole it. Remember?
That's right.
Santino could have been so big, man, for real. He could have went on to headline WrestleMania.
So, well, actually, I was just about to say, speaking of that, so the year that Del Rio won the Royal Rumble in 2011, he was the opening match at WrestleMania that year against Edge.
Mm.
He did not main event WrestleMania that year.
Yeah.
And he didn't even go over on Edge. Edge went over on him, and then the very next night, Edge retired because of his neck injury.
That's pretty messed up, isn't it?
And then Christian won the belt, and Christian was champion for a little bit.
You know when they could have made Santino if they would have had him win that Elimination Chamber when he eliminated like 3 out of the other 5 guys, and then they had him tap out to Daniel Bryan at the end. If he would have won that match, he would have been a main eventer, but he'd have been the champ, main eventer. It wouldn't even have to have the title long, but instead, right after that, he went to being a job guy, man. They screwed that up. In my opinion, that's one of the big ones I think they dropped the ball on. I know he was comedy, but he was good in the ring too, man. He got a hell of a pop. When I went to Greensboro at that time for Monday Night Raw, the one thing at the gimmick stand that was sold out was the fucking Cobra. Only thing there that sold out. I promise you, bro. That's how over he was. Kids loved him. I liked him. I thought he was hilarious. But, you know, just one of those things. You know, it's crazy, too. Kane never won a Rumble either, did he? Even though he's the all-time leader.
Even though he's arguably the greatest Royal Rumble participant in the history of the Royal Rumble. Yeah, no, he never won a Rumble. See, they kind of shit the bed on that one. If there was ever a chance to push him to the moon, it was 2001. That was when he was riding his hottest streak. He was like the most jacked he had ever been. He had just changed the gear. He had just gotten more personality. And then he obliterated the entire mid-card and then lost to Steve Austin. I mean, there was no stopping Steve Austin in 2001.
Right.
But they definitely screwed the pooch. Kane should have won that.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right now that you mention it. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it on the Rumble. Ben, have you seen Dana White? I just got an alert that he has like a reply to everybody who says that he disrespected Francis. Have you seen that yet? No? All right. Hey, we're going to watch it together, man. Let's see. Let me share the screen. We'll just switch over to MMA because MMA Junkie just alerted me, bro. So I got this this to watch. Let's see. All right. And here we go.
And you know, let's jump on this one.
Can you hear that, Ben? Could you hear that when I was playing it?
Yep.
Okay. Shit. Okay. Let me go back to that then.
And you know, let's jump on this one. If nobody asked it, I know they're dying to ask it. Is that I wasn't out there for the main event. I actually walked out of the arena right after the co-main event because there was stuff going on backstage that I was dealing with. But you know, for anybody to think that I was showing any type of disrespect toward Francis, I saw Francis all week. You idiots! I shook his hand. I said hi to him. I was out there for the stare downs, the whole thing. So for anybody to think that there was some type of disrespect shown toward Francis, I wasn't out there for Michael Bisping Rockhold's fight either, because I was dealing with some stuff. And I sprinted from the back. I didn't even have my jacket on. I was still in my only had my shirt on to go out there and put the belt on Bisping, but I couldn't make it out there to put the belt on Francis. There's only been one time that I've walked out on a fight and made it very clear. Showed up to the press conference and said, "This is exactly why I left." It was in Abu Dhabi with Anderson Silva. I think it was the Damian Maia fight. No, it was somebody. Anyway, who gives
yes, it was the Damian Maia fight.
Yeah. So there's the answer. I don't know if anybody asked that, but somebody wanted to. There you go.
Was it that, or was it the Talis latest fight?
No, it was. If it was in Abu Dhabi, it was the Anderson Silva, Damian Maia fight. He was so pissed. He was so pissed. He said it was like the worst fight he had ever seen.
Was that the same event where
Frankie beat BJ?
Yep, that's exactly what I was going to ask you. Yep.
And Matt Hughes mutilated fucking one of the Gracies. I don't remember which one, but
yeah, with the quickness too, right?
Which Gracie was that? Either way, I mean, yeah.
It was I can't even think of his name right now. It was it wasn't Hoist, it was the other dude that fought in plenty of
Enzo?
Enzo, yeah. I think it's Enzo Gracie. Yep. What? Oh, okay. There's another story on MMA Junkie that Bobby Lashley had expected to fight Brock in MMA before he'd ever fight him in the WWE. But besides that, pretty much the same old stuff. I know we talked a little bit about it before we came on the air. I saw today that Usman said that he had thought about going up and fighting Jan Blachowicz at light heavyweight to show that he was the best pound for pound. Some people are on board with it. Some people are like, that's a joke. For one, I think he would have done very well against Blachowicz. And I think he would do very well against a lot of the light heavyweights right now, like the top 5. Number 6 is the Russian dude. I think he might have trouble with him because he's such a good wrestler. You know what I'm talking about, right? The guy you said you thought would be champion by the end of the year.
Alexander Rakic, yeah.
No, not Rakic. The other one. What's the
Ankalaev?
Yeah, okay. Ankalaev, right? Isn't he a wrestler with big power?
Yeah.
So him and Yuri and maybe Rakic would probably be good fights with Usman, but I don't think Glover or Blachowicz would do very well against Usman just because Usman would be stronger than them, faster. He's not that much shorter than them. I think he would do pretty well actually at 205. I think he'd be the 185-pound champ, honestly, if he moved up. But, he doesn't want to fight Izzy. But if Izzy ever goes back up to 205, I see Usman definitely switching to 185. I think he's tired of cutting weight. That might be why he's been talking about this now. What do you think?
Man, because obviously he'd have to gain the weight to get up to 205, so his body type would be different.
You don't think he walks at 205? You don't think he walks around 200 pounds? I figure he probably does. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking more like 190. At his, at his big bulkiest. I think he'd do whatever. I think Usman's one of those freak athletes that can do what he wants to do.
Yeah.
He's just got the mindset to do it, and he's got the ability, and he's athletic, and he's strong, and he's mentally strong. That's one of the biggest things for Usman is that he's got a really good game plan every time he goes out. He's got great coaches around him. It's like we talked about the other night, like great coaching outweighs a lot in this sport. I mean, you can look at coaching in across any sport, especially like this past weekend, whether you're an NFL fan or not. Great coaching is what won most of these games this past weekend. Usman just, I think he'd be able to do. I mean, obviously 205 is a big step, but I mean, I think if he wanted to, he could win a fight at 205 pounds for sure.
Yeah, I think that basically he could do like modern day what Randy Couture did back in the day. going up from 205 to fight Tim Sylvia, who weighed 260. You know what I mean? And Randy came in at 220 and dominated with his wrestling and his speed and different stuff like that. But yeah, man. Anything else going on in MMA you wanted to talk about tonight?
We got Bellator this weekend.
What's the main event of Bellator? Let's see.
Ryan Bader defends the heavyweight title against Valentin Moldavsky.
Against the interim champ, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's losing that, man.
I was gonna ask you who you're picking.
Yeah, but I think Bader loses that fight. I think Moldavsky, he's the guy that knocks people out, right? He's like a heavy hitter.
Moldavsky is a Fedor team guy or a team Fedor guy. So he's very similar to the light heavyweight champion.
Oh yeah, Vadim Nemkov.
Yeah, Vadim Nemkov. He's Moldavsky's a good fighter. I just think this is going to be one of the first true young healthy heavyweights that Bader has to fight. He's gonna have a hard time.
Yeah, he's not the dude I was thinking of. This guy has a lot of decision wins. I think he just grinds out a lot of people. I think that's what he does, man. But
yeah, he's a team Fedor guy. He's a combat sambo gold medalist.
Yeah.
He's a Russian. He's got that. He's not the same style as Habib, but I mean, you know how those guys are. Those combat sambo guys, they grind you out, man. They put pressure on you, and they can work wherever they want to. Bader always has that one-shot power. I mean, we've seen it. It's not like I'm making it up. We've seen him knock people out. He's got that. We've seen him knock heavyweights out.
Oh yeah.
So I guess he has a shot, but I just think that this is, like I said, this is the first. I mean, his heavyweight wins in the tournament were against an older Fedor, Matt Mitrione, who obviously we've seen isn't, anything special. I don't remember who he beat in the first match of the heavyweight tournament, but I don't think it was anybody special there either.
I don't think so. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, he kind of had a pretty easy way to the title in the heavyweight tournament. What was it? He beat King Mo, I think.
Yeah, he beat King Mo, so another light heavyweight,
Yeah.
And his one other fight was against Chet Congo. It was a no contest. And the only way that he would have been able to beat Chet Congo is by dropping him on his back and leaving him there. He wasn't going to outbox that guy. He wasn't going to outstrike that heavyweight. So I just don't think that he has anything stronger than Moldavsky has, and I think he's going to lose. And what do you do if you're Ryan Bader after that?
I think it's time for him to start coaching. Hey, I have a question for you, man. Who the hell did Ben Henderson piss off at Bellator? He has had like the roughest go, and now they have him fighting Islam Mamedov this weekend. And like, I think he's gonna get killed, bro.
He didn't piss anybody off. They just were really, 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 really high on Ben Henderson because of what he had done elsewhere. I think that Bellator failed to realize that, and I'm not just saying this because he's my favorite fighter, maybe of all time, but he was gifted that decision against Frankie Edgar the second time around.
Definitely.
I think that if you look at some of Henderson's wins, some of the decisions that he had were questionable to begin with.
I didn't think he beat Masvidal on his way out the door. I didn't think
exactly.
He won that fight.
Is Ben Henderson a great fighter? Yeah, he's a great fighter, but Bellator put way more stock into him than they should have, and I think they burned themselves on that one because his record's not the best in Bellator.
No, it's horrible in Bellator. Really, it's like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And they allowed him to bounce between weight classes too, which hurt him in the end too.
Yeah, I mean, right when I'm not taking anything away from what's his name? Well, what's the dude's name that he lost to? Not Chandler. I thought that he lost to Chitty Bang, didn't he? I thought that Chitty Bang beat him. It's not on his record. Let me make sure. Let me look. Um, you know the guy I'm talking about, right?
No.
Chitty Naja.
Oh,
Nah.
it's Kalani.
Yeah, they call him Chitty Bang. That's like his Chitty Bang Bang. That's like his I thought
Yeah,
that
I
he beat.
remember. I remember Chidi and Kawani mainly because of his brother Anthony, who fought in the UFC first.
Oh, okay. I guess he
Anthony
did.
Kawani was a great striker, and even back in the day, they talked about how Chidi was supposed to be even better than him.
Yeah, I mean, he's signed to the UFC now. He's waiting on his first fight that takes place on the 5th. That's his debut. I thought that he had fought Ben Henderson. He didn't. He fought Melvin Gillard, another lightweight that shouldn't have gone up to
I
welterweight.
want to mention something about him when we're done talking about this too.
Oh,
Melvin
geez.
Gillard. We'll talk about
But
him
yeah,
real quick.
I think
Yeah,
Islam.
I mean, if you look at Ben Henderson's time in Bellator, all right. So Andrei Koreshkov, killer. Patricio Pitbull, we know he's a killer. Michael Chandler, a killer. Patricky, a killer. Roger Huerta. That was a fight that was I mean, we know what kind of fighter Roger Huerta is. We've seen it. I mean, is he an all action all the time guy that loses more than he should? Yeah, but that's another killer. I mean,
Back in the day, he really was a
he
killer when he
fought a
fought
who's
Clay.
who.
Yeah.
Sada Wad, great fighter. Adam Piccolitti, the one questionable fight you have, but he's got a good future ahead of him. Miles Jury, not a killer, but he's fought good competition. A second fight with Chandler. Jason Jackson, who's on his way up, and then Brent Primus, who's probably the number 2 guy in the 155-pound division right now in Bellator.
Brent Primus is good, man, for sure.
I mean, come on, man. That is like you said, that's pretty harsh. And
yeah.
If he doesn't win this weekend, that's 4 in a row. Boom, see ya, done. You're gone.
Yeah, I think Islam just smothers him. I don't think he'll submit him, even though he submits a lot of people. I think he'll just smother him to death and win a 3-round unanimous decision.
I mean, this Bellator card this weekend is sneaky good. There's a lot of decent fights on it. A lot of decent name guys on the card. But
yeah, I was just checking that out. Yeah. Yeah. You think that Islam will beat Ben?
Yeah, I think he will.
Any guy named Ben can't really fight. You know that.
His name is Benson. Okay.
Benson. Okay. All right. So go ahead and talk about Melvin Gillard, man.
All right. So Melvin Gillard is signed for Knucklemania. I don't know the exact date of Knucklemania.
It's like February 18th or something, somewhere around there.
But Melvin Gillard is signed on Knucklemania, and we live in a day and age where brain damage and CTE is real, and the cases are becoming more and more prevalent where these guys are either doing self-harm and ending their lives, or they're hurting someone else. So the question comes into play, like, when do you stop signing fights for these people? When do you say no? When do you say enough is enough? Melvin Gillard is 1 win, 14 losses, and 1 no contest in his last 16 combat sports appearances across MMA, boxing, and fucking bare knuckle. Okay.
It's bad, man.
Why? The question I ask is, if you're BKFC, what do you get out of signing this guy's name on a contract anymore? Because I'm not watching this fucking guy's fights because his name's Melvin Gillard anymore. Maybe I did the first time, 5 fights ago, when you signed him to a debut contract, and I thought maybe bare knuckle's better for him because there's no wrestling involved. But he's getting knocked out, and he's showing a clear negligence for the rules. If you watch his 1 no contest, the guy's on a knee where you're not, and he hit him on purpose and then tried to say he didn't.
Yeah.
So, what do you get if you're BKFC? What do you get out of signing this guy's name on the contract?
Nothing at all. Just
because
a highlight reel knockout.
People aren't tuning in to watch Melvin Gillard. They're just not. Fans of MMA, we kind of talked about this earlier. There's not as much of a crossover between MMA and BKFC as we thought there would be. If you like BKFC, that's kind of like your thing. and you don't know a lot about MMA. And if you know about MMA, you don't watch a lot of BKFC unless it's a name, a big name.
Yep.
Like, I'm sure a lot of people will watch Chad Mendez's debut.
Yeah,
Not,
Knucklemania. Yep.
you know what I mean? And it's because people are going to recognize Chad Mendez's name. But people aren't going to remember Melvin Gillard from season 2 of The Ultimate Fighter, who had blonde hair and knocked people out fucking 15 years ago.
Yeah, you're right about that. Chili Willy in the building. What's up, bro? Just talked a little Royal Rumble. Now we're just discussing a little bit of bare knuckle. But yeah,
I bet
Ben,
you Chili Willy's going to be number 29 in the Rumble this year.
He better be. Hey, look, but I just Melvin Gillard definitely shouldn't be taking any fights, man. And if he is, it should be like regional shows where he actually has a chance at maybe doing okay.
Or if you're a guy like him, okay, you've got probably, let's say, I'm going to throw a number out there, and I'm going to be wrong, but I'm sure it's close, 60 combat sports fights in your life. You have to have a manager at that point. Who the hell is still letting you fight? Who in your family is telling you this is a good idea? Who in your management team is telling you this is a good idea? Who of your training partners is telling you this is a good idea?
Yeah.
Because you should fire or fucking get rid of every single one of those people before you end up dead in a ring or your brain is soup and you can't even speak in full sentences anymore.
Yeah, you're right, man. It happened to Chili Willy, you might be able to tell me on this one, but it happened to a boxer from the early 80s. Not Leon Spinks, maybe Michael Spinks. One of the Spinks, he ended up getting hit so many times, got brain damage, and he ended up being a janitor at a high school and like couldn't even complete sentences anymore. And he was like the former world champion. Like that's how bad, this kind of stuff can go.
Do you remember Krzysztof Sozinski? Fought in the UFC
from Canada.
Yeah, fought in the UFC for a while. He had a fight, and he said that he got knocked out worse than he's ever been knocked out in his entire life. And he said, and still to this day, he was just recently on a TV show, on a YouTube podcast I saw. He said, still to this day, he doesn't remember things at all. Like he has trouble remembering things, that he had to basically relearn how to say certain words after this. Like, and that's a guy who caught his problems right away. And all it took was one punch for him to realize, holy shit, this fucked me up bad. So if you're Melvin Gillard and you're still getting, and you're not getting TKO'd, you're getting slept, put to sleep.
Yeah.
Who the hell's letting this guy still fight, and why are they letting him fight still?
Yeah, for real, man. For real. But the regulations for BKFC obviously aren't very good, and they need to tighten up on that. Nobody should be.
And I'm not throwing shade at any BKFC companies, anybody who fights BKFC. I'm just specifically saying this one case because there's going to be fights that they make like boxing where there's.
Yep. Doohoo Kim, he died in the ring against Ray Boom Boom Mancini, I think. And then there was another guy who died in the ring too. Nigel Benn killed somebody. In the ring, let's see.
I'm not sure exact numbers exactly, like how many of these fights of his were knockout losses or whatever, but that's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
So out of his 4 losses in BKFC, he had a hand injury, and then he was knocked out twice. And then he was DQ'd on that intentional foul. In his MMA, out of all of his losses, knockout, and it was like he got TKO'd by Israel Adesanya, Takanori Gomi, Derek Campos, Brandon Gertz, Justin Gagey, Michael Johnson, guys who are heavy hitters. He's not getting knocked out by weaklings. He's getting knocked out by heavy-handed guys.
Yep, got his ass kicked a couple times by Irish Jimmy Sweeney, who's like a real good BKFC like megastar in England. England or Ireland? Is he English Jimmy or Irish? Irish Jimmy Jimmy Sweeney. I don't know. One of those guys. He's either from Ireland or England, but he's a bad dude. And he beat Melvin Gillard twice in bare knuckle, not BKFC, but just bare knuckle fighting. But yeah, dude needs to retire, man. I totally with you on that. But anyway, Ben, I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up, man. I know we didn't have a real long show tonight, but it was kind of a preview show for the Rumble. Talked a little bit of MMA towards the end. Real quick, what do you think of Jake Paul buying into Endeavor, which owns the UFC?
Was this a plan all along?
You never know, man.
Like they started some beef to, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. It's interesting. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes too. But all right, Ben. Well, look, we're live and we're here, and I don't know the rest of the words, so we will see you guys Sunday after the Rumble. We'll talk about that. And
bitches and hoes. It's the Fight God show. There's no need to adjust your screen. It's not Bruce Buffer, but it's
you've been live.
You've been live with Bean and
Bean in the screen.
Bean in the screen, the stash.
Yep.
Willie G. Brock Lesnar is going to win the Rumble. That's what Willie G says. I said Austin Theory is going to win the Rumble. I'm going to be so wrong it hurts, but it's going to be all right.
All right. All right, Ben, have a good night. Everybody watching, have a good night, and we'll see you guys Sunday. Peace.